Taxes, inflation, and the breakdown of the family are causing us to fall behind. We have the lowest net worth in the United States, and I'm sure those numbers cross the border as well.
Some people get the disability tax credit and they don't open the registered disability savings plan, and that's where the government puts in all the money of grants and bonds for a person with a disability who has done all the steps. Some people don't do all the steps.
Good morning, everyone. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team since 2020, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers. As always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. You're watching The Morning Vibe here live on August 2nd. Yes, July is gone, and now we are into August. And I've already heard the ads for back to school. Actually, I heard ads for back to school like 2 weeks ago. But you watch, you start to see them on TV, hearing them on the radio, hearing them online. Amplify, especially probably over the next week or two. I'm hoping that my co-host, Mr. Ryan Oneil Knight, is going to be with us this morning. I spoke with him earlier this week. He said he would be here, so let's cross our fingers. But let's get some things out of the way first. Always, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. And we have passed 1,500 subscribers on YouTube. Now our next plateau, or our next goal is 1,600. And a program alert, I said August 12th. August 12th, we're going to be doing a special giveaway. So you got to tune in if you want to get access or try to win the prize we're going to be giving away on that broadcast. Actually, when Ken Nicole will be back from Energy Juice Shack Bar. So please tune in. Also follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. If you want to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm on, please email me dr.vibe@vibeshow.com. And also join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Please email me dr.vibe@vibeshow.com. Yes, Discord group where we carry on the conversations in between epic conversations. And then we've got Indie Soup Media TV, powered by my good friend, Dr. Tachi, based out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And that is an independent content creators network of over 30, probably about 35 now, independent content creators. You'll see a lot of the conversations that I host, edited versions on that platform. And Indie Soup TV, over 5 months, 15,000 YouTube subscribers. You know what I'm saying? It's not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, let's see who's in. JJ Mars is in the house. What is happening, JJ Mars, in Colorado? What is going down, Colorado weather? What's going on in the U.S.? Give us an update, JJ Mars. And Minion Cam, good morning. Right in from the beginning. Love that. And Minion Cam is on, at the present time, she's on the last Friday of each month, giving a lens on the world of disability. So good to have you both here. Please check out what they are doing and check out their comments. And also, if you're here, please chime in the comments section on where you are from and how you're doing this morning. I want to just say, I didn't get a chance to say at the end of last conversation, so I'll say it at the front end and the back end. Over the last 2 months, we've been helped on the Morning Vibe by a student, and she did a fantastic job. Her name was Maiden Sanchez. She attends a school here in Toronto. I'm not going to say where it is, but she was providing incredible help, taking the load off of me doing this. So she was responsible for putting up the comments that all you were doing in real time. So I want to say a huge thanks to Maiden and all she did to help make the Morning Vibe grow over the few months that she's here. And I'm providing continued support when she needs. We're providing continued help. All right. JJ Mars says, we're baking and frying very hot and dry. Interesting you mentioned that, JJ Mars. I was speaking with my next door neighbor yesterday, and he they're from Greek background, Greek culture, and they were saying they're going to be taking a trip back to Greece. The husband said to me, I think it's the first time in about 20 years he's going back to Greece. And he said that it's hot there, but it's not humid. Toronto over the past week, wow. It's been very, very humid. We've had not too much rain. It's been, especially Wednesday? Oh, like I would go outside and just feel like you're hit by a wall of just thick. Said that Greece is not like that. Greece is just pure heat. All right. Minikaz, I think I need to be added to the Discord and share my show notes. If you want to, no problem. The email address is there. I'll give it at the end of the show, but I think you have, I'll give you the email address for the Discord at the end of the show, and you can would love to have your show notes in there. Be great added value. So what's been going on this week? Let's see. JG Mar says global warming, 100%. One of the things I want to chat about now, maybe when Wayne Harris comes on, because it is First Fridays and it's Financial First Fridays with Wayne Harris. What do you all have to say about the amount of money that Americans are donating to the political campaign of Kamala Harris? It is crazy. And especially the amount of money that Black Americans are donating to the campaign. Isn't that wild? I mean, and just being myself, when you donate money to political campaigns, do you get your money back? Do you get your return on investment? All right. Also, C Nurse K, good morning. I hope you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. Do you get your money back when we make these investments to your political campaigns? Like, lots, piles of money. I can't remember off the top of my head how much money's been donated to these campaigns, but it is a lot. All right, you know what? I'm going to do something really quick here because Ryan's just called, and something tells me that he may or may not have the link. So I'm going to see if I can email it to him again. Okay, hold on. He says, okay, I thought so. For Friday's show. Okay, I'm going to send it to him right now. So just bear with me right now because I did send it to him, but we're going to do it right now. So bear with me a second as I share. This is when you're called true multi-purposing. Let me just do it because we do want Ryan to the show. All right, so I've sent him that link. Thank you for giving me grace in getting that to you. But yeah, incredible amounts of money donate to the Kamala Harris campaign. What do you think, family? I definitely want to get Wayne's thoughts on this when we have him come on initially, because we are talking about financial concepts for the culture. What does he think about those concepts of donating to campaigns, political campaigns? But that's about it. Anyone watching the Olympics? I have to be honest, I have not watched one bit of Olympics, but, big ups to Simone Biles, now regarded as the GOAT of all time when it comes to women's gymnastics. Yeah, I haven't, to be honest, but today I believe the track and field, and a lot of people know we'll be watching the track and field for Sha'Carri Richardson. Also, Noah Lyles, can he win the 100 and 200 meter sprints? So I don't know if I'll be watching it, but I know my Jamaican heritage, all my fellow Jamaicans are going to be watching, especially in the track and field, especially the Jamaican woman against Sha'Carri Richardson. All right. Macmillan Group. Good morning. Actually was on with a business that I'm assisting with the Macmillan Group yesterday for about an hour and a half. That was amazing. Thank you, Ray. Also have to give you some contact information for that organization, the people who are running it. Opal Inspired. Good morning, Opal Inspired. Hope all is fine with you. I'm going to say happy belated birthday to Opal Inspired. So hope you had a nice one. And he is here. Ryan Oneil Knight. What's going on?
Good day. Good to see you, brother. I am doing well.
How's your week been?
I would say it's been pretty productive, July ending with some great momentum, some cool events happening this weekend. Okay. So Glad I was able to join.
Good.
And for those that have forgotten who I am, I don't come on Fridays too often, but now that the school is out, I'm going to be able to pop in. But my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro Caribbean Business Network and co-founder of Detailing Nights. So with ACBN, we support entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage. And with my company, Detailing Nights, we provide mobile waterless car cleaning. So we come to your house or your office, clean your car on the spot without using water, and our plant-based eco-friendly cleaning supplies. And tomorrow we are doing our second giveaway of a free car cleaning because of Caravana and the Carnival weekend. We are doing one. We did one on oh my gosh, Canada Day. We did a giveaway. So shout out to Andrea who got her car cleaned. And tomorrow we're going to be doing another one. So check out the I'll send out the link to sign up for the contest.
Okay.
But I had a question for you.
Before you go with a question, just catch up here. Ray says McMillan Group possibly campaign donations like any other have taxable deduction benefits, but it is insane indeed. We're just talking about the amount of money groups are donating to Kamala Harris's campaign.
Okay, yes.
And Opal Inspired says, thank you so much for the belated birthday greetings. Actually, it was Elder March's birthday yesterday too.
Okay, so it coincides usually with the train ride that they do.
Yes. I didn't take part. I saw that. Would have been. I haven't talked to anyone who's been. I saw pictures, but I'd be very interested on people how it was this year without Elder March on the ride. But you had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, totally off topic. But I'm curious, do you follow like the Marvel Cinematic Universe at all? So this is for my nerds out here. So if you've been following, you'll know when Robert Downey Jr. started as Iron Man, he kind of kicked off Marvel being, like the powerhouse it became. And so over 10 years or 10 movies, he's played this role. Now we're hearing that I think it's actually announced and confirmed he's going to play Dr. Doom.
Yes, it is confirmed. I heard a news report.
I do not approve.
Oh, okay.
This is so brutal. I don't know how others feel about him now. So Iron Man, if you want to say, is superhero on the hero side, and then Doctor Doom is like full, complete on the villain side. But Iron Man was killed in line of duty fighting Thanos and defeating Thanos. And so Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, he's dead in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But now, as the actor, he's going to come back as a different character. And I don't know how to feel. It just feels so wrong. It just does not.
Well, I did hear a report about him on this, but I'm not into the Marvel universe thing, though it's interesting. Yeah. I was doing some grocery shopping yesterday, and they gave me coupons to watch. I know a Marvel movie that I don't know if it's a current one or not. But I said, but yeah.
So this would be for those that are listening. It would be similar. So Hugh Jackman plays Wolverine and has played Wolverine. He actually retired the character, and then Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds brought him back to don the iconic uniform. It would be like Hugh Jackman now playing Magneto, who is a complete, like the arch nemesis of the X-Men, and Hugh Jackman, the actor, playing Magneto. It's been a real buzz, I would say, on the different vlogs and blogs, and people giving their opinion. Is this like a total destruction of his legacy as Iron Man? But yeah, I just had to get that off my chest. So thank you for listening.
Yeah, no problem. You gotta, like I said, I've never been a Marvel person and all that. So, but I did hear reports about it. Okay, so let's do some comments before we go to a very quick break. So Mignon Camp says he's getting a lot of money and playing. Yes,
I heard the numbers 80 million.
Wow.
To play Dr. Doom. If that is confirmed, like that is, I'm not sure the most he made. I know it was around 50 was the highest I heard playing for Iron Man, but 80 million. And so what the talk is that a lot of movies that Marvel has put out now have not done very well. Like,
so they had to bring down the back. All right.
They're saying if he can reboot it.
So many bills need to be paid. What bills does he need to be paid?
Listen,
all right.
Need to send him an email.
All right.
You can help us out with some bills.
Sarah Marriott Gray, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Thank you for joining on Facebook. C Nurse K says, saw an Instagram post where they honored Elder March at the event. His name was spelled out in the sky. Wow. So if it was, then maybe Flick Fireworks was doing that.
Oh, probably with the drones.
Yes. Right. So hopefully I like to, and that I hope someone caught that on video.
Yeah.
All right. Mignon Camps, this is why actors hate being typecast. They want to expand their skills without explanation. Okay. JJ Mars says Hollywood gave Robert Downey a big break. He had a drop. Yes, he did have a very severe drop problem way back then. Then the Iron Man took him around. Yes, I know nothing about Martin Evil. Yes, and says JJ Mars says yes. Anyone can change their stars. All right. No, I have to admit, I went to see the first Iron Man movie, and I loved it. Okay, so
Wayne, it got me hooked too.
Yeah, Wayne is saying in our back chat he's getting 100 million.
Holy moly, that is a budget for big budget movies. Like when a big budget, like 100 million going to one person, that's
all
wild.
Right. Well, let's get to a quick break, and this is a quick break. We're going to have Mr. Harris come on. We'll talk. He's got some things he wanted to talk about, financial concepts for the culture, but I'm sure he'll want to lay in on some of the other conversation topics. Yeah, he also said they replaced Jonathan Majors with him. Yes. So let's do a quick break, really quick break, and we'll be right back. Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala. Join Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Lala Key as they cut through the chaos and make some sense of the nonsense in American news and politics.
People are expecting Obama-level eloquence out of a man who's always talked like this.
Sharp insights, bold opinions, and a touch of humor. It's the show that keeps you informed and entertained.
There's no way that Trump is going to debate her.
Don't miss Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala. Tune in and stay ahead of the headlines. All right, we are back. Primetime Saturday, August 2nd, Friday, August 2nd, 2024. Yes, August is here. Have no fear. And we are here with Ryan Knight. And because it's First Friday, because he is, Wayne Harris is in the building. And unmute yourself, Mr. Harris, so we can hear you. We see you. We need to hear you.
Let's go. Happy Friday before Caravana weekend.
Ameribana, not Caravana.
Oh, Ameribana.
So, are you a nerd like me? Do you follow the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Seen every movie from Inception, buddy. Every one.
And so you know that it was actually Blade that started off the most successful Marvel movies. So shout out to Wesley Snipes.
And
Blade 2 is my favorite movie of all time.
It was just recently his birthday too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Wesley and I are born the same day, and Schwarzenegger as well.
Oh, nice. Same year, same day, or like same day?
Not same. He's 62.
Oh, okay.
He's a little bit older.
It's so interesting you mentioned that Robert Downey Jr. is replacing Jonathan Majors, because Jonathan Majors had a whole lineup of Marvel movies he was going to star in, and then that debacle just is now. I see him getting back in social media and trying to fix his image.
The thing is, he was innocent. So what if he was guilty and they cancel him, but he's innocent and they're canceling him?
And still canceled.
Buddy, I saw this guy running down the street for his life from that Karen. And still, his career has never been the same. Now he's with one of my favorite female actresses. Because I've seen her grow up from a little girl till now, Megan Good, and the two of them are together, and she seems to be very, very much into him, and she's supporting him, and they seem good, and I hope it works out, because I don't understand why these other brothers in Hollywood are sleeping on her, because she is, at least from the outside looking in, fantastic as a person, beautiful inside and out.
My crush on Megan Good since Biker Boys.
Right. So I actually met her in LA in 2014.
Nice.
She was. We had a party in LA. But yeah, listen, good to see you, Ryan. And
Yes.
I saw you physically a couple of weeks ago.
Yes,
And
appreciate the support and glad we're able to come see you, get your car detailed. And also thank you for introducing us to the residents of the club or the members. Let us know about what we do. It was really appreciated.
oh yeah, listen, there are going to be a bag of people in that building calling you guys to do things there.
Sweet.
And Ken, who did the work, fed him up. Him and his girl fed them up.
Nice.
So, Mitchell, got a little bit of Wayne McHugh, a little Wayne McHugh.
Nice.
So Wayne, do you have any thoughts on it or any comments, any things you discussed before we had to jump in? Any thoughts?
For sure, 100%. First of all, breaking news. That I didn't even, I wasn't privy to. Is kind of, it's good and bad. Good that it's happened, but bad that I wasn't privy to it. The first-time buyer program for the RRSP in Canada. Right now, you can use $35,000 of your RSP to put towards a down payment on a house. Well, the Trudeau government has just changed that rule to $60,000 that you can use your RRSP to put towards a home. So this is a big deal. It's a big deal. Okay, so now I'm talking to all my clients saying, hey, you had all the extra money in your RSP that you couldn't touch for a first-time buy. Now you can touch that. So if you have husband and wife or two partners, that's $120,000 down that you're not going to pay any taxes on. You have to pay back 1/15 of the amount over 15 years. Pay it back. Otherwise, it counts as income for the 1/15 you did not pay back. So if you pay it back, no tax. But if you don't pay it back, they add it to your income in the years you don't pay it back. Okay? And you don't get any tax deduction or tax reduction or deferral. So let's say you borrowed $15,000 for a down payment on a house. You're supposed to pay back $1,000 every year. When you pay that $1,000 back every year, you don't get any tax relief for that $1,000. You're just paying back the loan. It's everything up beyond the $1,000 that you put into the RSP that's going to reduce your taxable income. Okay, so that's one.
Well, just before you go off on the one, I was curious, do you know any organizations or people that you like work with that do good sessions on helping people get that first home? Like I've never really seen like workshops, webinars, guidance that help people just walk through the whole path. I was wondering if you know anybody that does it.
Yeah, there's two ladies, Keen Realty. I think they're in Brampton.
Oh, Kimba, right.
Kimba and Andrea.
Yeah. So I've heard they do that. And they also do group economics where they will get 10, 12 people together and go buy a house cash. So there's no mortgage. So mortgage exposure only matters if you need a mortgage. Mortgage rates only matter if you need a mortgage. But if you get 10, 15, 20 people or 2, 3, 4 people together and you all coming with your $120,000, you can buy a condo cash.
Absolutely.
And rent it out. You can buy, most of the time they speak about buying properties that have basements you can rent or rooms you can rent because they're looking to get income from the property. They don't want money going out. They want money coming in.
Right. So, and I think they're doing a development in Brampton. So I'm going to reach out, see if they can come on the show and let us know about this new development. Thanks.
Yeah, they do a lot of that. The other thing that's going on, so that starts now. That was announced in April, but it started August 1st for the 60K. So that's on 2 days in for the $60,000 for the down payment from the RSP. So that just started. Since we've been gone, Kelly Clarkson. Since we've been gone. July 13th, Trump gets shot. Okay, because I was in here the first week of July, and I leave, and the universe and the world is fine, and I go away, and I come back, and Trump gets shot in here. And he's talking about fight, and I thought if Biden is his opponent after he got shot, it's over for the Democrats.
Done.
It's over, right? The momentum is going to push him right to the White House. So how do the Democrats counter? They counter with Kamala.
Yes.
Okay, so
Mm.
which makes me believe that the debate debacle wasn't a debacle; it was a plan. So they could do the transition.
Okay.
So they could
Come
do
out
the
and look super sleepy.
yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Because when he got the presidency, he was already old. And we
True.
knew, everybody was saying, at least everybody in my circle was saying, he's not going to finish his term.
Okay.
That's why she's so young, right? Something's going to happen right around year 3 to push him to stop so she can take over, first black female president, yada, 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 yada. And here we are. So I'm not, a buddy of mine, I remember we were having a coffee at a Starbucks in University in King. And he said to me, shout out to Clive Henry. He's in New York, formerly from Rexdale. And he said to me, all life is theater. It's all theater. And I went, you know what? You're absolutely correct. Because when you see this thing play out, it looks like theater. All right, what else? So July 13th, Trump gets shot. July 21st, Biden drops out. Okay? So here we are. Then we have the Olympics start. Did you watch the opening ceremonies, boys?
I did not. I heard it was really good.
I saw some replay. I saw the replay of it. Next subject.
Why? What happened at the opening ceremony?
Bro, listen. I don't have video, but maybe Dr. Vive can set it up and show you the take on the Last Supper.
Okay.
And the pale horse and the white horse. It was Revelations. Bro, listen. France has since apologized for it, but if I had a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old kid, or a 10-year-old that was a budding gymnast, and they're going to watch all their heroes, Simone Biles and all Biles and all these people doing their thing, and they saw that,
And quick shout out to Simone Biles. It's great to see that she is back in form, but I'm gonna have to go find some footage of what's I've heard, like angst about this take on the Last Supper, but I haven't watched or seen it, so I have to figure out what happened there.
Game changing. Go ahead, Dr. Mike.
I'm going to catch up to the comments and then add another layer, because all this doesn't revolve around money. So Minion Cam, they raised it to $60,000. Fitness IQ says only good thing they've done in a while. And then she says, well, what about this tax on home equity? And she goes, yes, I'm shouting. And Minion Cam, yes, there's an outborrow. They help people get into their first homes. And says, Ray, any competent, underlying competent mortgage professional can do that. Hashtag mortgage planning. Fitness IQ Cam, Minion Cam says this, and Key only added more options in co-ownership for home buying, and options for home is still there. Habitat for Humanity is hanging in there. Okay, we're caught up. And I think one other thing we got to add, the little Q&A that happened at NABJ was 45 this week.
Oh boy.
Yes. It was great. I love it because
and
he's absolutely correct in terms of her. Fun fact: I went to school with her. When we were in high school, she did not identify as South Asian, but I've seen interviews as an adult that she has identified as Indian. But when we were in high school, she was blackity black. She was hanging with all the cool kids, all the hot gal them who were black back in the day. She did not embrace her Indian side, at least to me. My sister was in classes with her, so if she comes on, you can ask her. But I don't remember her identifying with Indian until I saw interviews with her saying she's South Asian descent. When that made sense politically, and then when it didn't, she will promote her Jamaican side and so on and so forth. Okay, so it is, again, it's theater. The fact that she's getting millions, hundreds of millions of dollars says that whatever she has said in recent times since she's been VP is resonating with the black community, and they're ready to go to war for her to stop Trump. Whether it was her or someone else, I think they were going to go to war anyway to stop a Republican from getting the presidency. But I don't think she can neutralize the gunshot.
Well,
really, even though that ear's healed quite quickly, people are getting photos of it, making it seem controversial, conspiracy theory.
Well, you know what? I'll bet you a routine doubles. I'm going on the record that Trump's your next president of the United States.
Okay, I will take that bet because I feel Kamala's momentum is gonna keep up until the day. They say it's supposed to wane, but I think that they'll keep the momentum because something else. Know what's gonna happen that I feel? Eventually, they will debate, and that's gonna be the time because Trump will only debate her if they have a very solid attack plan. Something that they're gonna come to that debate with to catch her, lock her, So if they do debate, I think that's where it'll switch. But if she holds her own, then she'd win.
Listen, she's a former prosecutor. She's gonna hold her own.
But
right?
Trump's a different cat. No matter who you've seen,
the key to the debate is being able to fact check.
And they don't do that at debate, so he can attack with whatever he wants at the time.
I think the one hope is if they can keep sustained, because all these different groups doing Zoom calls are and all that. It's going to be, it's going to be interesting. I don't know, but let me put it this way: if she wins, if you thought January 6th was something, you get ready.
Listen, I went to both Obama inaugurations in DC,
right?
And there are people trying to book hotels now for her inauguration.
Oh, come on!
That's very presumptive.
That's
very presumptive. I would, like I said, to have a high school classmate as vice president of the United States is big. To have a high school classmate as president is bigger. I get it. God bless her if she wins it. But America is a different America than since Obama and Trump. This America is very, very, very different. The dividing lines in ideology are very, very thick, right?
Thicker.
Yeah, there's no either you're on one side or the other now. There's not a
lot of grace between the two sides. It's probably the most polarized it's been since Jim Crow, to be honest. Right. But hey, I don't live there. There's people on the call who live there. They're the ones living it. We're gonna breathe the echo of whatever happens down there because the Canadian economy is 80% based on the U.S. economy. So whatever happens down there is going to affect us. But I can tell you that the market loves a Republican.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So for what I do, Trump may help.
Yep.
Right. And then Poilievre gets into power in Canada and Trump is in the United States, it's going to be the whole Mulroney, Reagan thing going on again. And that, serves Canada well, depending on who you talk to and depending on what your socioeconomic status is.
100%.
Right?
Okay.
All right.
So let's just catch up and then we'll get to our main thrust here. Ray says, I agree with you, Wayne. I think that the baton passing was genius. Fitness IQ, yes, I will put the Last Supper, yes, in the Discord because I don't think they won't allow me to put here. They'll block it because of copyright.
Wow.
Inspired Thought says, agreed, Wayne. Also says, agreed, Wayne. 45 is winning, and I'd say by a landslide. I can't.
Inspired Thoughts. That's another row TN doubles on the.
You got to define what a landslide is. Drea Rich.
Now, the winner has to come to the losers roti shop. No, I'm not coming to Pickering.
All right.
Hey,
Good morning, gentlemen. The conversation about VP Harris's race and ethnicity, especially amongst Black people, is a disgusting distraction when 45 is looking to be a dictator. But going back to the old play, race baiting, right? Yeah. And even in that NABJ thing, you can see that 45 is pitting Blacks versus Latin Americans. They're taking your job. Yeah. So he's back to the old. It's a core thing from the Republicans, race baiting, one group against another group, right? Emmett says,
he said the Black Jobs thing that got called out quick. He was like, "Oh, the immigrants are coming to take your Black jobs." The crowd erupted.
Pam, I think you're probably saying Kamala will win. Obama will help her behind the scenes. Interesting. And then Roland. She didn't hold her own during the initial run for president. Also, this is her 4-year record as VP versus 4-year record as president. Well, which one was better? That's a good question, right? And I think very interesting how Mr. Biden got the release of some of those political prisoners from the Soviet Union. Very interesting that happened at this time. So,
and you have to remember her candidacy. I'm listening to Wayne, and it's like she's running for president. You could think that she gets a call to say, listen, if you ease up, we're putting our boy Biden in, he'll bring you on the ticket. So the fact that she dropped out the race, you can't say is that she didn't hold her own. It could be part of this whole grand scheme plan. Theater, thank you. And now it's her time. So
yes.
Her then is not the same as her now, you know.
I agree. So last piece on this whole thing, Project 2025. Google it.
Well, no. Well, a better thing is if you are following the program, Primetime Side with Aisha and Lala 2 months ago talked about that.
Okay.
2 months ago. But interesting enough, the gentleman who was the head of it resigned this week from it.
Yeah.
But it's still the funny thing is, if you don't know what it is, read it. But it is comprised by many of 45's former staffers.
It's okay, but it's not Trump's mandate, nor is it Kamala's mandate. But if either one of them were to use it, it would give them powers. All I can think about is Star Wars, and they're giving the Emperor emergency powers. Palpatine goes bad, and the whole the Empire is born. This is the exact theater. I mean, it's the exact script. Watch Star Wars. When the senators give this guy the power, and he takes over, and the dark side's anyway.
Yeah, and one thing about
the Supreme Court.
All right.
And
let's put it this way, though. Look at it this way, and the commentator said last week about Project 2025. It's already happening in selected states anyways. It's slow. It's already there in a lot of states. But one of the big things, especially for people who look like us, police would have complete immunity.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wild.
So all I'm going to say on this is who wins the presidency really doesn't matter. What people that look like us need to think about is who is their city councilor, who is their sheriff, who's their local district attorney, and who is boots on the ground in where they live, and who's running their state, because that's where all the power is, because the federal government is overlay. It's what's going on in the state, what's going on in the counties, and what's going on in the cities. That's what shapes policing. Whether the police get off or they don't get off is based on the county you're in and what powers that sheriff has and who voted them in. So Kamala's not going to help you with that. Biden's not going to help you with that. Trump's not going to help you with that. If you have bad roads in your city and you need a stop sign, or you need a crosswalk, or you need a new traffic light, Kamala can't help you with that. It's the local government that helps you with that, and most people don't go to those elections, but then complain about the council doing this and the council. You want a park? Right. You want better schools? That's state. That's not federal. It's state. You're not getting what you need because they have a pool and you don't have a pool, that's city. Okay.
Yes.
TDSB, not federal. It's Toronto District School Board. So again, cross border, same thing.
Yep. Okay. So before we get it, just more comments. Ray says the female allegiance is going to play a significant role in her, quote, success, unquote. She exudes so much more femininity than Hillary did. So we could be in for a surprise. Inspired Thought says, did you see Elon Musk? I heard something, but I don't know 100%. But he, as usual, he's lingering. He's lingering. Drivich says, Rolo, I'm unclear about how her record as a VP comparable to 45 when he was president. Those are two different roles. MN says, I agree with you, Ryan. There will be a woman president when she wins. You owe me a roti. Okay.
I said that
Ryan's on your side. Ryan's on your side.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was somebody else that's against us. We have two rotis coming in MN.
Okay. All right. Wayne, let's get to some financial concepts.
All right. Here we go.
Wait, I am so sorry. And I don't want to derail the conversation, but I just want to say I do feel bad. And you mentioned about the Paris Olympics. The women boxers that are having to quit because of fighting this man. I just want to say I feel bad for them because that woman got one punch and was like, yo, I'm out.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is not
46 seconds. She goes, I never got hit that hard in my life.
I was watching it with my wife and I'm like, okay, she looked like she was holding her own and then she got hit and put up her, I was like, oh man, she must have known like this is not going to end well because there's no way. Just being an athlete, even if you're a woman fighting a man, you would still, like you're at the Olympics, so you wouldn't quit. So for her to quit, she really felt something. And I just want that. It feels bad seeing people cry. Like the Olympics is such a big deal. And to get there and just know that it ended because you had to quit, it's rough. So
no, I think that this is where left and right are crystal clear on where they stand. Right? What happens in the Olympics is based on the Olympic Committee, and the Olympic Committee is telling you what the new value system is by having that person in there. And when they have them in the pool, and listen, equal rights for everybody, because we just got ours 60 years ago. So equal rights for everybody. But let's make it fair. Let's have a category for people who are doing the transitions so they can fight against each other. So that's fair. Right? Because if you're taking hormones, you're not going to be fully up there with testosterone, but you're not all the way down there with estrogen. So I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble.
Well, and that's why they have weight classes in boxing.
He's the same weight class. He's the same.
But I'm saying because at different weights, there's different advantages. So now with hormones, you're seeing, okay, perhaps, women transitioning to men, that could be a category, men transitioning to women, because when it mixes, this is now like a featherweight fighting Mike Tyson heavyweight. You're going to see people get hurt, and then you realize you have to start segmenting. But
I agree. Bone density, upper body strength. This is why when you see kids wrestle, up until a certain age, boys and girls will wrestle together.
Right.
But once puberty kicks in, because they know those boys, right?
And by accident, they'll hurt a girl.
Right. They go, no, these boys will start firing testosterone. They go, no, you can't, no more. Now they have boys and now they have girls. And for reasons, it's logical. But anyway. Okay, let's go.
My apologies.
No worries. All right. You want to get a couple of comments in there, Dr. Vi, before I go?
Yeah, I think we better because let's do it quick here. Ray says, I've always said that my focus has always been municipal politics, specifically as a real estate investor. Federal politics is distracting theatrics.
Yes.
Fitness IQ Camp says that's the fairest thing. Mini on Camp says yes, they need to create gender class in competitions that are physical. Inspired Thought says Elon Musk put a video ripping Kamala and endorsing 45. It made her look useless. Could be AI, but it was very effective. MNN says, I agree with you, Wayne. Roland says, for the boxer store, you guys already know life as you guys already said life is theater. Drea Rich says this is misinformation and frankly bigoted. Iman Khalif is a woman, not transgender.
Oh,
so is that why are they calling him transgender then? Like, it's not us calling him transgender. The reports are saying that he is a man transitioning to a woman.
If that's
not true, then by all means, I will look it up. But everything I've looked up so far has said.
Well, here we go. IOC has put out a statement with respect to this story, and with this last one, because we'll never get to concepts after this. Now, she wasn't in transition. Her case is more comparable to what happened to Castor Semenya. The distance runner from Kenya faced a ton of scrutiny despite being a woman. From Ms. Wiki, cannabis educator. Okay, we're gonna stop. Drea Rich. Many Black Americans have been aware of both Kamala's and Trump's 45's poor record in the bad, in the black. Okay, you're done. Wayne, let's go.
All right. Breaking news. Your government of Canada has now said that they are going to allow, and this is Uncle Ray's lane, 30-year amortizations for new mortgages on new builds only. So if you want to buy a brand new house or a brand new condo, you can get a 30-year amortization, which is going to reduce your monthly payment. So even though the interest rates are inflated, you're going to have a lower monthly payment. And that is great. The bad news is because you're paying 5 years longer, you're going to pay much more interest. Okay?
Right.
So your interest payment, so the cost of the actual purchase is going to go up, but your payments are going to be more bearable. And if I were a government in my last 14 months of a mandate before the next election, I would want to give some kind of relief that sounds like I'm doing you a solid, but what I'm doing is I'm costing you more money. And this is something that Ray McMillan can come on and do the comparisons between what a 25-year amortization looks like with a certain down payment and what a 30-year amortization looks like with a certain down payment. You'll see the cost is going to be a couple of $100 in your favor because you're extending it longer. But man, oh man, you're just paying the piper longer. So there's a couple of things you can do to get the 30-year amortization, reduce your payment. Good. Now you're there, and this is where you use Wayne and you use Ray. And the two of us come in, Guyanese superpower coming in, flying in like Superman, Bajan flying in like Superman, and we come in, and Ray says, okay, I've got you the mortgage. It's 30 years because I'm going to get your payment low. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do it bi-weekly rather than monthly. And we're going to cut 4 or 5 years off the payments because we're 26 bi-weekly periods in the year, not 24, 26. Right? So you get one more payment in a year, so you're going to reduce the amount of interest you're paying. And then I'm going to say, give me that money, put it into a TFSA, and at the end of the year, dump that lump sum into the principal on the mortgage, and that will drop it even more. So we're going to cut years off, but keep your payment low. And this is where Ray and I work together arm in arm to give the Vibe universe the strategies to win. Make sense?
Home buyers Avengers.
Exactly. Curry. So superpower. Curry chicken curry.
Right. That's an argument, not a superpower.
No. This is what we say. Ray and I, we bump fists. He says chicken curry. I say curry chicken. We change into our uniforms and we come out and say the same.
That creates the fusion. I love it.
All right. So that's with the mortgage. I think that's one of the significant things. Now you got to go out and find a new build. As you know, the Bank of Canada lowered interest rates by 0.25% last month, right? July. Great. Well, guess what? Everyone is saying, and the pundits, and we never know, the pundits are saying that they're going to accelerate the dropping of the interest rates between now and the end of the year, which is good news for those people who are coming up for renewal, because lowering interest rates doesn't help you when you're in a fixed rate, because you're in your fixed rate at 2%, 2.25. you're going to stay there for as long as possible. You're like, you're coming up to the wall of that, looking at that 5% from your 2% that where you are now, and you're like, whoo-wee, you can see that extra 2-3 G's that you're going to pay a month for that new mortgage. So if they can drop that rate a little faster, and again, Uncle Ray can speak to that, this will help. This will help the people have a softer landing. You're going to come out into a less than 5% fixed mortgage as opposed to a higher variable rate right now. So I won't get into what the rates are. I'll leave that to Ray. That's his lane as a mortgage broker, but it should be better for you to borrow for a mortgage as we go deeper into 2024. This is what it's looking like now. Ray, give me a thumbs up if you agree with that assessment. As of today, anything could change. So let's focus on a couple of things that are really hurting people. It's called the 50-30-20 rule. Have you guys heard of it? I think I've done it here before, right?
You have mentioned in the past.
50% of your net income should go towards essential expenses such as housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, and insurance. 50%. That number in Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal is higher than that number now. It's beyond 50%. So it's getting really, really tight. As of last month, believe it or not, Montreal is the most expensive city to live in Canada.
Oh boy. Wow.
As of last month.
That's interesting because you're in Montreal. I go to Montreal a lot. To live there, apartment-wise, it's cheap.
But apartment-wise, yes, but you're paying 2 taxes.
Oh, but the gas prices are ridiculous there.
Yes, they're very high. They're very high, but they also get a very big tax credit for buying hybrid and plug-in hybrid and electric cars, where Kathleen Wynne had that for us, and Doug Ford took it out as soon as he came into power. We used to get almost $13,500 for buying an EV, and that's why people were buying Teslas and all these sort of things at the time. And then Doug Ford said, if you can afford an EV, you don't need my tax credit, and he took it off. Right? So I think Quebec does some things better than we do. What they do better than we do, daycare. Quebec has had low-cost daycare from time, okay? Quebec used to pay people for having babies because they needed the population, so they're paying mothers to have kids. And the Quebecois were having 1 and 2, as per usual, and every minority and immigrant that came into Quebec were having 3, 4, and 5. Which is a problem for certain people in Quebec, aka the Bloc Québécois and other provincial parties. So Quebec has pricing of houses. Once you get out of the Montreal core and you go 1 hour in any direction, Quebec, the prices drop significantly. And you can get a lot of house for under $500,000. And you can live really, like Oakville, for like $500,000. Once you're about an hour outside of Quebec, especially if you go south and if you go east. Okay.
You mean Montreal?
Montreal.
No problem.
Okay. 30% should be allocated to discretionary spending, including dining out, entertainment, hobbies, and vacations. I am now seeing people with over $100 a month with subscriptions. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Google Drive, iDrive, Spotify, iTunes, this and that. Listen, people are spending money on subscriptions. They don't even know they have the subscriptions, right? They add things on their phone, right? I'm gonna add, whatever on their phone, and this thing is charging them $13 a month quietly. You want Crave TV, you want Apple TV, right? All these things cost money. Right? People have Android boxes. How much is an Android box? It's a subscription, $15 a month or $200 a year. If you want what I call TFOT TV, right? Which is IPTV, right? Which Rogers and Bell don't want, because as soon as Bell sees that you have internet access, but no home phone and no cable, they know.
Checking in.
They know. Well, you don't want one of our packages. You're not a lot of packages. Just give me the gigabit, Bell. Just give me the 5 and walk away. Nothing to see here. Why? Because they have Android boxes You got 3 Android boxes in your house. You're paying for 3 boxes, $45 a month. Okay. Talk about barbershop. So when I get to the section of the financial needs analysis, it talks about personal expenses. I say hair did, nails did, everything did. You want to hear the numbers for manicure, pedicure,
Okay, yes.
lashes, and hair. Okay, whatever form that hair takes, whether it's
wait, I want to stop right there. How much discretionary spending is going to be done by people who look like us this weekend?
Oh, buddy.
Oh,
buddy.
Boy. Right.
Listen, the Soca Fete used to spend $20 for is now $100. I saw people who buy outfits from the mass camps. They're paying upwards between $350 to $1,000 for their outfit to go on the road.
To play mass? Wow. That's wild. I saw people complaining about the king and queen prices now, like $75 a ticket to get in and watch.
Again,
100%.
so this circles back to the beginning where I was mentioning how African Americans donating so much money to Kamala Harris's campaign. Why can't we donate something to a non-political cause, like a school?
Well, why would you?
Go ahead.
Why would you do that? Because they could have done that before Kamala was running. When Biden was president, they could have taken all that money and given it towards charter schools and to community centers, to hospitals in the community, and do all those things with that money. $200 million came in, like overnight.
That's crazy. I'm going, oh my, and again, what's going to be the ROI on that? The way that politics is, the ROI on that.
If she loses, the money goes to the House. If she wins, there's supposed to be a quid pro quo. Okay? That means you have the power. I've made my ask. I've given you the money. You're supposed to do what I asked you to do. Quid pro quo.
But you see, you mentioned Project 2025. Where's Project Black? Like, where's our plan for
again? So this is the thing. We have to realize, and this is all financial. Politics is a business. The money is given to purchase votes. Right. Voters this is just me. This is not a democracy. This is a capitalistic democracy. Right. So all this money, a lot of it's going to go to fields. A lot it's going to advertising to purchase votes.
Agreed.
Purchase votes.
Listen, they have boots on the ground, and they're going to have a volunteer army, especially in the blue states, to mobilize the forces, get people registered so they can vote. And they do this every 4 years. It's almost, and someone said it the other day, like there's no shootings. Cop to black person, there's no shootings. We don't hear about them. And then right when we get into the election cycle, Sonia Massey, right on time, right on cue to create the debate about the police and race, just in time for the crescendo of the election. So you can look back at the cycles, but when I heard about Sonia Massey, and rest in peace to her, she had a pot, she had boiling water. She said, "I rebuke you," and he said, "I'm gonna shoot you in the head," and he did. Right? Will he get off? Probably. Right? But this is where mental illness versus violence, there's a fine line. When you send police, de-escalation usually doesn't happen. It's not designed. They're not trained to de-escalate. They're there to solve a problem. And if you're the problem, they're going to solve it. So I was not surprised when, right on time, Biden's out, Kamala's in, Sonia gets killed by the police, and then the machine is going to start to generate.
All right.
Go ahead.
Let's get to some comments. JJ Marr says Kamala has not said anything specific she do for Black Americans, but the excitement is there. Many on Cam says, Fitness IQ Cam, we have a shortage. There are no affordable homes for people on social assistance, and they just act like a wizard with no magic. She also says, Cam, they keep on making the wealth gap bigger for people on social assistance. MN says, thanks, Wayne. I'll get to your question, Ray, in just a moment. Many on campus, a lot of people moved out of Ontario to Quebec. I'm not aware of that. And the cloud of photo and video storage is getting out of hand. Yes. Right. Bell sent out their 5 TV box for free to customers to get them into their ecosystem. Good morning, Dr. Tachi, creator and voice of Mini Soup Media. Mini Can says, I love getting my pedicure done. It's awful bending down to clip my toes.
Okay.
Also says some donors want to keep their donating secret. Yep. Ray says, I haven't had any form of cable TV since around 2008. Money well wasted. So let me get to a question here from, about the whole thing. Great initiative, but the question is, how many home buyers, new builds versus resales? I'm thinking about 2 out of every 5 buyers, or how many buyers, I think, purchase new builds versus resales. I'm thinking about 2 out of 5 buyers. Any thoughts on that comment, Wayne?
I think the number is high. I think the new build there's not enough inventory, and if there's inventory, people can't afford them, right? I think if you did that 30-year amortization on new and resale homes, you would get people going out looking. But if it's just new homes, and we're not building any single family homes in the GTA that I can see, it's either row townhouses or stacked townhouses or high rises. And if you don't want one of those 3 things, you're not going to be able to get a house in the GTA. So new builds, with the amount of development costs and the amount of red tape to get them off the ground, it's going to be tough. Who is going to be able to buy these things when they're built, if they get built? Because the developers are saying, listen, I'm stopping construction because my costs to build this thing are way out of whack compared to the 3-4 years ago that took me to get the land, break the ground, and start building with material costs based on 2020 or 2019. Now here it is, 2024. Now I'm ready to build. Everything's double because of COVID. So he or she is going to say, I'm not going to dig that hole and lose money. I'm going to change and raise all the prices and all the units. And there's nothing a buyer can do. Ray can speak to this. And when you bring the realtors on, they can speak to this. If a builder says, listen, the price you bought it for was $475. The price now is $525. Take it or leave it.
Right.
I'll gladly give you back your deposit after you've been waiting for this thing to be built, and it's almost built. I'll gladly give you back your deposit. You can go away and wait another 4 years, or you can pay me the extra 50 G's. Most people pay the extra 50 G's, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and we're just talking from a Toronto-centric space. There's many not started, partially built, partially not built developments around. Like 5 minutes from where I live, there is one that's it's been there for years, and then someone told me that the guy took the money and went back to Hong Kong. He said the cost went, he's gone with his money. Done.
Whoa.
Done.
Right? What
about the ones that are catching fire?
Yeah.
Over the last 2 years.
Fire.
Just catching fire. Nothing to see here. Burn to the ground. Okay. So 50% all your expenses, including your house. 30% discretionary spending, including dining out, entertainment. Listen, restaurants there used to be a time when if you didn't call for a reservation, you weren't getting in this place. Most places I go, they'll say, listen, 15-minute wait. Would you like to go to the bar, have a drink before?
Yes.
Listen, there's room for everybody in restaurants now because people can't afford to go out the way they used to pre-pandemic. It's not the same. I don't even know what the nightclubs are doing. I mean, I'm way past nightclub age. But I don't. Back in the day, you go on King Street and there was a bag of young people up and down doing their thing.
Just driving through, you would see.
Yeah.
But now Richmond, King,
it's
quiet.
busy-ish. If you didn't know what was going on before COVID, you would think it's busy. But if you remember the 90s and the early 2000s downtown, it was bananas. Right? The last 20% is savings and debt. So we have a problem with debt. I think I mentioned it last time. I got someone paying over $700 a month bi-weekly for 84 months at 29.9% interest on a vehicle. Wow. And when everything's said and done, this vehicle will cost $61,000, and the vehicle's already 5 years old. If you're paying $61,000 for a vehicle, it should be a Benz. Okay, it should be a high-end car. This is just a regular Toyota. It may not have leather seats, but it's bad debt on top of bad debt being rolled into a loan with bad credit, and this is what we're doing. Honest to God, cheaper to pay Uber every day to come pick you up at your yard, take you to work and bring you home. After you look at the cost of the vehicle, the cost of insurance, and the cost of maintenance. Right. When you look at that, and then your car washing and doing all those things, when you look at all that, probably cheaper to Uber than to own the vehicle. People who are upside down with vehicles should never have owned a vehicle in the first place, so they chose the wrong vehicle. Right? Used vehicles that are 3 to 4 years old, depending on what you buy, especially if it's a luxury brand, those vehicles will depreciate by upwards of 40%. Right? So you buy a 2024 vehicle, it's going to cost X. If you buy a 2021 vehicle, it'll be X minus 40%. And the vehicle is new. It's 3 years old. Right?
Remember, I think Dr. George Fraser talked about this when he came on, that he'll buy 3 years off lease.
Yes.
And buy a Lexus 3 years off lease. And just like you said, the car's practically new, and you've saved that 40% of the initial depreciation if you bought it new.
Exactly. So depreciation is a non-monetary expense. But if you're going to, and this is where we get into leasing a car versus buying a car, if you are not in business for yourself, and if you cannot put that car into your business's corporate name, you should not be leasing.
Okay.
To be honest, leasing is an operational expense to reduce your taxable income. But if you're a T4 employee or a W2 employee, you shouldn't be leasing. If you need to go to leasing to afford the car, you're buying too much car.
Right.
If you're going to finance a car and it's brand new and you're willing to you want that new car smell, and you want to pay all those dealer fees that are included with a brand new car because you want to see them pull the plastic off the seats and you want to be the first person bums in seats, great. But you better keep that car, keep it for 10 years. Therefore, you pay too much for it, but because you want that, you're the only person in that car, you're going to hold that car for 10 years, it might make sense.
Gotcha. Right.
It might make sense. But what I would do, honest to God, is I would go find a 4-year-old vehicle from a brand that I know is bulletproof. And there are 3 bulletproof brands out there, really 2. First bulletproof brand is Toyota or Toyota Senior, which is the Lexus. The second is Honda, right? Then this Honda and Honda Senior, which is Acura. Those are the 4 brands, right? If you buy those vehicles 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, you should still get another 6 to 7 years life out of that vehicle if you treat it right. If you're going to buy a luxury German brand, Benz, Audi, Beamer, be prepared to pay for an extended aftermarket warranty. Because if a light comes on that dash, It
Break
might be a
off another
mortgage, it
house.
might be a mortgage payment. It might be a mortgage payment. Okay. So German
Yes.
vehicles, very robust. Depending on the winter, when they close the door, I don't scream anymore when people slam my door because the car is designed for someone to slam the door, right?
Mm.
But I also know that I'm paying dearly for German parts for this vehicle. So I had to do the math. And the reason I drive what I drive is because it is a diesel engine. And the diesel engine gets 1,300. If I drive at 117 kilometers per hour, I figured it out.
Okay,
117 kilometers per hour, and I lock it in at 117. I stay in the slow lane until I have to pass and come back. I can go to Montreal, drive around all weekend, and drive back on one tank.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. That's serious.
Right? So now,
good.
this is economy. This is economy. So now, when I offset that with the cost to maintain it, and I got to knock on wood. Well, here's some wood over here. That vehicle has been very, very good to me in terms of its cost. Okay.
Right. Yes.
So if you're going to, I bought the consumer report because I said, listen, I hadn't bought a consumer report in years. I've been, doing online stuff. Instagram has stuff, but I finally bought it because I wanted to see, after all these years, the Koreans have been doing a great job over all these years. The Japanese are still number one for reliability and so on and so forth. The Germans are still for style and for different features and whatnot. All great stuff. Who was still number one in their categories? And when the dust settled, even in 2024, the used car guy from Consumer Report says, if you're not buying Japanese, buy Korean. If you're not going to buy Japanese or Korean and you're a regular person, what are you doing? What are you doing? Right?
And so Korean automaker, that's Hyundai?
Hyundai and Kia. Hyundai and Kia, same company. Right? Listen, Stellantis, which owns Chrysler, may not make it because their cars just don't seem to want to behave. And
that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, and the
you
only
get to know
brand,
your mechanic real well.
Yeah, and the only brand that holds its value is Jeep. This Jeep Wrangler, people love it. It's a cult following, and there's nothing you can do. And they don't depreciate. They hold their value. You buy a Jeep 10 years old, you're still paying big money for it because that's a class of people who just love the history and legacy of Jeep, and they go up in the cottage and they go off road and they do all them things. But if you're going to be driving up and down the Gardner, a Jeep, come on, the wind noise alone will cause me to go crazy. All right, let's get into the 10 rules.
Okay, we got a bunch. Before you do that, got a bunch of comments.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so let's catch up. Dr. Tachi says, I cut the cord in 2016. C Nurse K says, woo, the price to finish a basement apparently starts at $80,000. It's hard to have a new build, then have to pay to finish the basement, install fencing, etc., etc. Ray brings great as always. Right now, there are 26,429 resale homes for sale in the GTA. Let us say 25% are purchased by new buyers. This is a huge segment qualifying at a 25-year amortization.
Right.
Minnie says, I remember leaving my days of leaving Brampton for a downtown club as a teenager. Best choice since I haven't been clubbing since you've been having MS. Agreed. She says, yes, you can buy those high-end cars with cash. My dad does it all the time. Ray says, none of the federal government's housing decisions have been made with any input from broker network, who are people who have their finger on the pulse of home buying and buyers. Roger Dundas. Good morning, Roger Dundas. 100% for business leasing. Minnie says, Money Guy Show says, put down 20% on your car and have 8% and have the car be 8% of your household income for car expenses and no more than 36 months. JJ Marr says, Japanese automakers are good overall. Wayne just made sure she said that. JJ Marr says, had a Volkswagen Jetta once. It was a design to literally fall apart in 60 months.
God. That was the design. That's brutal.
Film Group, the annual maintenance of a high-end German autos are $10,000 to $15,000 a year once they are out of warranty.
Annual? That's brutal.
100%. 100%. Trust me.
Yeah, Mini on Cam, Mitsubishi is Japan. So is Subaru. Yes.
Right.
Nurse Case says hashtag Team Toyota, long lasting.
Yes.
All right. And Mini on Cam says Subaru, the mascot car for the LGBTQ plus community. All right.
They started to do commercials?
Yeah.
I have no idea, but
This is
I heard that
for the cross trek and so on. There's a lot of jokes about Subaru and the LGBTQ community, but those go back to the Subaru's the last 20 years. If you treat it right, it's when you get too sexy with the engine. Another European car that's a sleeper that no one thinks about from back in the day is Volvo. Volvo is a bulletproof, very solid cars back in the day. Simple engineering, and they did not break. I've owned Volvos, and they were fantastic. New Volvos now with the new engines and whatnot, not so certain about. And based on Consumer Report, not as price for value. If you pay less for the Volvo because it's not Benz, Beamer, and what's the third one? Audi. Because it's not Benz, Beamer, Audi, you may get the Volvo at a discount. And then when you have to pay for parts and labor, your prices are almost the same as Benz, Audi, and Beamer. So you have to watch and see. Every model is different. But the bottom line here is I can't leave this call without talking about debt. And really all debt, consumer debt is key. So let's just go through 10 points. I'm going to go rush through them because we're already at 10:16. 1. Call me or use my Calendly and book me for 60 minutes complimentary financial needs analysis. Let's see where you're at. Okay? No cost to see where you're at. Let's see where you're at because sometimes you're looking at it for the first time. So let's get that done. Once we have that done, we'll see what's coming in and what's going out. And when you see how much you're spending on oxtail every month, maybe you might want oxtail once every 2 weeks rather than every Friday. Right?
Hey, Carolyn's got me to cut down so much. I have a special savings bond for my oxtail now.
Exactly.
Don't let me interrupt. I'm sorry. Don't let me interrupt.
No, I don't think I had oxtail in July, and maybe I've been. I don't think so.
It might have only been a couple of times, even on my side.
Yeah. So I'm way down on the oxtail. Next thing is create a budget. So there are so many different budget calculators online. Most of your banks will have a budget calculator on there. What I'm recommending to people, I'm recommending to pastors and churches, is if you want people to tithe more, maybe you should have a budget. Maybe you should know what their budget is. So once you know what their budget is, then you can see what they can give in tithe and offerings, right? But they're asking you to give money without you doing an analysis of what you actually have to give, because you may not have any money to give because you're living tight, not because you're living above your means, but because the cost of living has gone up and your income has not. All right. Then we want to build an emergency fund. I know people who have to go immediately to their line of credit if anything goes wrong. Listen, if you have to pay $1,000 deductible because you hit somebody, you're going directly to your line of credit. If your AC at home breaks and it costs $150 to bring whomever to come and take a look at it, they're going immediately to credit card and immediately to line of credit. You got to have a couple of $1,000s that is saved in an efficient way where the money can't lose money. You're not making a whole lot of money, but you can't lose money. Right now, rates with no risk are over 5%. So if you can make 5% with no risk, why wouldn't you have some of that money in an emergency fund? Like I'm thinking, someone says, I got an auntie at back home, wherever back home is for you, and she lives by herself. And she calls you and say, I need help. You got to get on that plane and go down there and see her. You need to have that money sitting somewhere where it's earning a little bit of money, but it's easily accessible. So even if you put it in your credit card, before your credit card statement comes back, you can pay it off with the emergency fund. So let's get an emergency fund. Then prioritize debt. Which debt should I pay first? A lot of people have student loans. A lot of people have car loans. People have their mortgages. They have a lot of consumer debt. I'm seeing a lot of consumer proposals now. A lot of people are like, just, I give up. 21%, 29%, 36%,
Wow.
46% interest rates.
So Wayne, let's just stop right there.
Wow.
What is the good of doing that? Like, there are people in the situation who don't want to go that route, even though they should.
Right.
Why should they look to do that?
Perfect. So the reason you want to look at a consumer proposal is for a couple of reasons. One, your credit is already damaged. So your credit's already below 600, okay? And you're paying massive amounts of interest. And when I say massive amounts, I mean north of 20% interest, okay, on multiple things. So all you have, if your debt consists of any kind of cash money loan, any kind of payday loan, any of that debt, if you have a car payment that's the interest rate is north of 10%, and your credit's damaged, well, you're not going to get out of that because the interest is calculating so fast against you. Because some of the things are the interest is not calculated annually; it's calculated monthly. Some are daily. I mean, it's really, really bad. So when you look at the actual cost of borrowing, right? If you say, "Listen, I'll lend you $100 for $15," I'll lend you $100 for $15. Well, that sounds to you like 15%, right? 15%. I lend you 100, you give me $15. That's 15%. But you got 2 weeks to pay. So when you take that and multiply it by 26 weeks, what's the interest rate? It's a stratosphere.
Damn.
Because most people don't pay it back in 2 weeks. If they could pay it back in 2 weeks, they wouldn't be borrowing. So when you start doing the real calculations, the interest rates are in the hundreds of percentages. Okay? So we do consumer proposal. I look at someone's situation and say, listen, you've got 4, 5, 6 debts. You're paying minimum payments or not paying minimum payments. And every time you don't pay the minimum and you don't pay on time or you don't pay at all, your credit drops.
Yeah.
And all you see is this interest going up on you and it's stressing people out. So you come talk to me. I have a facility that will get all the interest being calculated against you and stop it. So listen, we're going to come up to a number that the creditors and the company that we're working with will agree upon, and we're going to stop the madness. And they're going to pay this amount and this amount only with no interest for the next 3 years. And then you're done. Your credit's going to be damaged for the 3 years that you're in the proposal. And when you come out of the proposal, if you listen to what I'm telling you and you learn some things about financial literacy, by the time the 3 years is over, you have rewired your brain on consumer debt and you will go into better practices over those 3 years. So when you come out, you don't go back in to the same situation. But I know people who are on the second proposal. I've done two for them. And they will not learn their lesson. Because when I see the pictures on IG of them on the hip hop cruise, the jam rock cruise, the Caravana feathers, and I see all these things, I just look at the Instagram and I go, what are you doing? And you know what they say to me? Wayne, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live my life. And I say to them, hey, do you, right? But see if you can take care of these things here, because you're going to leave your family a legacy of debt rather than a legacy of wealth. Someone's going to have to take care of that debt, and it's your next of kin, right? So the people who are single, they're saying, I leave, I die, it goes to the house. Nobody cares. Okay, maybe, maybe not. These are the people who ask you to co-sign. By the way, the only person you should be co-signing a loan with is no one. How about that? It should not even be legal to co-sign if it's not your spouse. If it's your spouse and you live in the same house and have the same last name or however you did it, then I would co-sign. Other than that, I don't care. Brother, sister, friend, cousin, nobody. Co-sign for no one. It's probably the safest. Find them and tell them call me. Find another way. but do not co-sign on any loans for anyone, because credit equals character. That's what credit is. The higher your credit, the higher your character. What does that mean? It means that I can lend you money and you will pay it back on time, with no excuses. Because life, as my daughter would say, Dad, life is lifing. Life is gonna life for people. Yeah. But people who life's for them and they still pay their bills have high credit and high character. So when they go to buy that house, the mortgage rate is going to be lower. When they go to buy that car, the interest rate is going to be lower. When they go to buy that appliances or whatever, the interest rate is going to be lower if they're going to use a financing deal. And I'm not saying don't use financing deals, but understand the true cost of borrowing. Okay? Definitely. Someone says don't pay a cent for a year. Understand what the interest is going to be at the end of the year.
At that year, yep. So we got to catch up. We got to catch. Oh, are you finished your 10, or do you want some comments?
I'm going to go through the 10. Repay the debt. Hey, you can negotiate with creditors. We just talked about that. We can do that for you, no problem. Avoid additional debt. Listen, there's always a sale. You walk into a mall, there's always going to be a sale. There's always going to be something you want. If it's not mandatory to your life, don't do it. How about increasing your income? Listen, the government of Canada and the government of the United States penalize people who work a job the most. How do they penalize them? They take the money out of your account before you even get it. That's how they penalize. But if you're in business for yourself, you get the money first, you business expense, and then you give them taxes after the business expense, if there's anything left.
Right.
And if you know what you're doing, there's very little left. Okay. So why would you voluntarily allow the government to come into your wallet, take their end, and say, listen, now that you have done 100% of the work, we've taken our end up to 53.53% in this country. We want to take our end. That means you work from January to July for free. That's 53% of the year. For free. And then the rest is yours. Why would you volunteer? Why wouldn't you do something on the side to give you a little bit of reprieve? And it doesn't have to be complicated. Okay? I'm gonna pump my own tires and pump the tires of the professionals on here. Hey, how about using a ninja, Master Yoda, Master Jedi level mortgage broker like Ray McMillan or Ted Evans? How about using one of these guys rather than going to a bank? If you go to the green bank will tell you get a green mortgage. You go to a blue bank, the blue bank will tell you get a blue mortgage. Why not go to the guys who can go to all the banks and all the lenders and say whatever makes sense for your particular situation, that's the lender we're going to use, right? So you get what I call vendor agnostic. I don't care who you go with, as long as you go with me to get you to them, you're going to win. Debt consolidation, not something I usually use, not easy to get, but there are a couple of credit card companies that will allow you to put all your debt on their card at 0% for 12 months. And your mission in life is just to hammer that debt down before the clock turns back on to the new interest rate. But if you got interest rates above 19.9 or above 21.9 all over the place, this is a fantastic low cost. It costs you 3% of the balance to get it. So let's say you got $10,000, it's going to cost you $300 to get the facility to do it. You got $100,000, it's going to cost you $3,000 to get the facility to do it. But that $3,000 pales in comparison to what is running against you with these 21, 25, 29, 45, 46% interest rates that you're paying because you didn't know, you just needed the money. And lastly, I need you to stay motivated and stay persistent, right? There's a couple of ways to pay down debt. You can look at the amounts and look at the largest amount and work with that first. I don't like that. I like working with the smallest amount first. Now, Roger Dundas and I differ on this because I like to see success. So if I got 1,500 here and 15,000 there, I could start hammering the 15,000. Yes, I know the interest is calculating against me. But if I get rid of the 1,500, then what I was paying on the 1,500, I can now apply to the 15,000, and the 1,500 is gone, and I got victory now. I want my people to get a victory in 2024, right? Not 2027. They may pay this $15,000 off in 2027, but you may lose heart over 3 years of paying that debt down. The other way to do it is based on the interest rate. The higher the interest rate, the worse it is for you. Pay the highest interest rate off first. Okay? It's called avalanche or snowball, depending on what you want to do. So I look at the balances. I said, what's the smallest balance? I can get you evicted. Listen, this is $1,000. You're paying $33 a month. Why don't you pay the minimum balance and all the other guys and drop 500 here, 500 here. 2 months is gone. Now, what's the next one? $3,000. We have $3,000. We pay minimums and everything else, and we hammer that one. 6 months, that's gone. Take the money from the 1,500, the money from the 3,000, and now we go hammer the next one. Minimum payments on the other one. So we're keeping our character, keeping our credit, and we're getting rid of things, and we're seeing victories, like trophies, like medals around your neck, like the Olympics, as you get rid of debt. And then your job is to keep your tail out of debt.
Yes.
Stop buying stuff that you don't need. Right? Okay. 10:30. Dr. Vibe.
Yeah, well, but see, you've been going. It's so much fire. First things first. Is there any opportunity that you can share those 10 with me, and I can put it with our Discord group and tag you?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, that's one thing. Okay, the comments have been out of bounds, so let's see where we can start. First of all, Dr. Tati says hashtag Toyota rocks. She says she's been driving her Corolla for 21 years strong.
Nice.
Minion Camp says my 5 pounds of oxtail lasts a few months, worth the buy.
Nice.
Ray says that new S90 is a beauty. I have my eye on it. Don't sleep on the Infinities, Wayne.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay. And family, whenever I get in a chance to have the opportunity to get in between Ray and Wayne, especially when it's offline, if you want a great conversation, I charge you, but you need to be part of that conversation. Minion Camp says many churches offer free classes of Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. Minion Camp, some on disability lost their freezer and doesn't know that your tenant insurance plan could cover that. Now they're asking for GoFundMe. Well, look at in Toronto a few weeks ago, we had some really bad storms. I'm hoping people had insurance to cover that, because if they didn't, you need to touch base with the tall-headed, bald-headed Bayesian. Please and thank you. Minion Camp says payday loans switch to installment loans. She says late payments stay on your credit card report for 6 years. She says consumer proposal legally is maximum 60 months. Dr. Tachi goes, not a hip-hop cruise and they're bankrupt.
Yes.
She said, frequency of promotions, good to see you tuning in now. What did you miss? You got to watch the replay. I ain't going through all of it.
Right.
Really? You can't tell me at 10:30, what did I miss? Come on, and Wayne Harris is on? You got to watch the replay. Wayne goes, if you're planning to purchase a home filing bankruptcy, will be more advantageous than doing a consumer proposal. The consumer proposal is 4 years plus 2, while bankruptcy is 9 months plus 2 years. Okay. Okay.
So my CPs are usually 3 years.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Dr. Tachi says, co-sign on the loan. The devil is a liar.
Yes.
Beyond Camp says the USA has families stuck in Parent Plus loans for their kids going to college. The whole school loans thing in the United States, that's a whole other conversation.
Absolutely.
Minion Camp says the McMillan Group mortgages and real estate, the CP maximum is 60 months, but you can pay it off early. I've done it, paid it off in 9 months. Good for you. Good for you. Let's see what else. Frequency for Brent goes, the breakdown here is hot like Scott Bonnet pepper. I like that.
Thank you. Yes.
All right. And Minion Cam says debt snowball is smallest balance first. Says, all right, debt avalanche is interest rates first. Okay, she says there are many debt payoff calculators online that do the math. You pay off the debt all off timeline, and then stop buying stuff you don't need to impress people you don't like. Bam!
With money you don't have.
And yes.
Something you don't need.
My apologies. I do have to run.
No problem.
10:30 is calling me, but we'll talk. Good seeing
Happy
you
long
here.
weekend, buddy.
All right.
Same to you.
Dr. Tachi, hashtag Ray and Wayne Rock. There you go. That's well, when they're back on with their black belt conversation, we'll use that hashtag now. Ray and Wayne Rock. And Freakies of April says, I'm working with my calculator the other day, and if you save $30 a day for 12 months, you can owe over $10,000 for the year.
Yeah, $30 a day, sure. Yeah. Okay. Listen, saving is not hard when you make it automatic. So getting a pre-approved debit set up for your non-registered account, if your RSP is full, maxed out, if your TFSA is full, if your first-time homeowners is full, then you can do a non-registered account. But you need to be putting money, preferably in your TFSA, every month automatically coming off your check, so you don't have to worry about it. Because if I leave it up to you, imagine if you, Dr. Vibe, had to remember for your heart to beat. How long would you live? How long would you live? Right? If you had to remember to breathe in and breathe out. So we want these things to be automatic so that you don't have to think about it. So the money's gone. So you're working with a reduced balance, and that reduced balance you need to cover everything with. If you can't cover everything with what you are making with the reduced balance, then you need to decide what needs to stay and what needs to go. Not everybody needs a car.
No.
Not everybody
Here's a perfect example. I have a couple I know very well in Montreal. Now they're into their early 30s. They've been married for a few years. They have never owned a car.
You shouldn't need one if you're living in the right parts of Montreal.
Right. They live downtown Montreal. They work in downtown Montreal. They have never bought a car.
Yeah. When I lived in Montreal, I didn't own a car either. My bus ran every 5 minutes. I walk up to the top of the street. I go to the bus stop. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I was at the metro. Metro took me to where I wanted to go, and I would do my thing. The only time was when you came out of the club at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. The buses were stopped. That's when you had to make a decision on what you were going to do. Wait till 6 o'clock in the morning for the buses to start again, or start your walk. And if it was summertime, we would walk because it was nice and easy. And we walked that 3 kilometers.
Yeah, but I respect them. So never bought a car. And they're, especially the gentleman, he's very financial conscious, very, very frugal and all things like that. So
you should have him talk to me. I would love to meet him. I want to hear why his relationship with money is what it is.
Yeah, good stuff. Speaking about relationship with money, you have done it again, my man, with making it a good thing. Let's see if there are any other comments here. Look at this. Dr. Tachi says the student loan thing here is a mess. Yeah, the student loan thing in the U.S. is it's a whole other thing. Ray says conspicuous consumption is like crack for many folks, even more so for Black folks. Budgeting and self-control is critical. And Dr. Chai says, yes, it's a question of living in the right place. Go ahead.
Listen, they say the Black economy in the United States, if it were to be counted as a country, would be the 9th largest economy in the world. We buy more cars, clothing, jewelry, and liquor. That we're the 9th largest economy in the world. If any of that money could be redirected towards income producing real estate, community services, we make better choices with that money to invest it and have the money make money on the money, then churches would have endowments and wouldn't be needing as much tithing as they're talking about, because someone would donate a lump sum, and that lump sum would generate income for the church over and over. That's why Harvard University doesn't worry about money, because Harvard has 150 years of people who have left millions of dollars in the endowment. So I think that there's a level of financial sophistication that can be learned from the people who are doing it old school. Where I went to a church the other day, invited by a friend, and they didn't know, nobody came. I said, when are they going to come around with the plate? Well, COVID taught them that money in the plate could have COVID. So they put a QR code up on the screens, and everybody
Yep.
got their phones out, got the QR code, and started depositing e-transfer to the
Yep.
church. I said, brilliant. Now, it tells you how long I've been in a church. But what I found with that is it allows you to track your spending and the automatic and the tap. Like I've told people on this call before, if you have tap on your debit card, remove it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Remove it immediately. Because if
Mm-hmm.
a debit card gets compromised, investigation has to ensue. If a credit card gets compromised, they cancel the credit card and issue a new one immediately.
Yep.
Business as usual. Because the debit is your money. The credit is their money. So they take care of themselves.
100%.
Okay.
100%. 100%. 100%. Few comments earlier on that were not related so much on financial, but Mignon Cam says police come to every scene loaded up with weapons. To a person who lives with a mental illness, that is the worst situation to be in. JJ Marr says historically, Black Americans have thrown their support blindingly to the Dems, resulting with a very poor rate of return. Ray McMillan, and public schools are closing all over the U.S., even more so in southern states as the shortage of teachers continues to grow. Federal elections is a Hollywood production that engages folks. If we have anything else, I think we are good. JJ Marr says Kamala has not said any specifics she would do for Black Americans. Okay, I think we are fully. We went all over, but good over, because all of this has to do with economics.
Well, listen, Joe Biden did give Black Americans Juneteenth as a holiday, and he did do some loan forgiveness on some student loans.
Yes.
Right? Kamala has said, she's on tape. Now, again, it could be out of context. This is Instagram research, as my son always accuses me of. So you're just an Instagram researcher. Why don't you go find the long form and see what she actually said and get the context? He's a smart kid, right? Got his master's degree. So I heard she said, I'm not going to do anything specifically with Black folk. Anything I do will benefit them as well, is what the quote is.
Yeah, I've heard that quote. Yep.
Right? Now, Obama said, listen, I'm not going to do anything specific for Black folk, but I'm going to get Obamacare, which is going to help a lot of Black folk.
There you go.
Okay. But when there was anti-Asian hate crimes, they got specific legislation, right? When the Japanese were interned in World War II, they got specific legislation. When the Chinese had the head tax, they got specific legislation. And when the indigenous were brought to residential schools and their land was taken, they got reserves, and they get a budget every year. So all parties that have been done dirty, including the Jewish community, has been taken care of. Even though America did not contribute to the Holocaust, America gives Israel what they need to defend themselves. And I'm not getting into all that, but there's money coming out of the U.S. budget specifically earmarked for Israel to continue to exist. So everyone is getting their end. All we're saying is, for being here since 1619 and beyond, it would make sense that something be given to us. And I don't want anybody judging what we would do with the money, because it's none of their business. The work was done for free for 400 years. 40 acres and a mule was promised. It never was delivered. If you go retroactive on that, what is that worth today? And everyone should get it. Now the question is who? Now you have to do the filtering on who is, in Barbados. I wasn't born in Barbados, but my parents were. Neither one of my parents were slaves. Neither one of their parents were slaves, but their parents were. And that's codified. It just so happens in Barbados, those archives just happened to miraculously burn down since Barbados became a republic in the last year. Mm-hmm. So because they were ask King Charles, because his mother didn't do anything. She benefited from it, right? Just like she benefited from apartheid. She benefited from all those things because she was in power for all of apartheid.
Well, not only that, again, here's pop quiz, family. Which family is the largest landowner in the world?
After the Vatican, it might be the House of Windsor.
Yep.
Might be the House of Windsor. So again, these are all things that I don't want to dwell on the past. I want everyone here to, from this moment on, 10:44 Eastern time in Toronto-ish to take personal responsibility for their financial decisions on a daily basis. Don't look to the government. Don't look to any other third party other than the two eyes that are staring back to you in the mirror when you're brushing your teeth, and make a decision on a daily basis to do the right thing, not just for today, but for your longevity. You do not want to have more month than money when your income becomes a fixed income. When you stop working every day and you're only depending on your pensions, you do not want to have more month than money, because you will. Getting old is hard enough, but getting old and being broke is even worse.
Well, here's the thing. People who have their money right, they don't care what party's in power.
Correct.
Right? Wayne, I know you know people, and I know people, they don't care. And there are cultures out there, doesn't matter what party's in power, they're doing all right.
Yeah.
So again, so that's why, as Wayne is saying, get your money right, and you don't have to worry about politics. Last quick thing. In America, recent surveys have been done comparing cultures' marriage rates and income rates.
Mm-hmm.
In America, number one culture when it comes to marriage, percentage of people married, South Asian. 100%. Ironically, they're the highest average culture income rate.
Right. Yeah. America is very good at inspiring the talented from around the world to come and find their fortune in America. A smart person from India can do well in India, but a smart person in India who comes to Silicon Valley can IPO and change the legacy of their family for generations. So they make that move. I can't remember the name of the gentleman, but he's a PhD, Japanese descent, and he said the H-1B visa is what America uses for innovation, right? Because the atom bomb was tried by the Americans, but it was bringing in of the scientists from Europe to get them to what they wanted to do, and the same thing with everything that America does. They'll borrow from the best. Natty Comaneci got a perfect 10 in gymnastics in 1976 in my hometown of Montreal, the first perfect 10 in gymnastics history. What did America do? Hire Bella Carosi, who was her coach, and bring him to the United States. So, and now you see Simone Biles doing her thing. It's a legacy of the excellence that was imported to make America great. So what I want us to do is the answers for finance are out there. Not all sources are credible. Start with me and Ray if you're in Canada. For me, I have people in the States I can direct you to. Ray handles Canada and the US and the Caribbean. So work with Ray. If we don't have the answer, I would love to have you deputize us for us to go find the answer for you.
100%. Okay, let's leave this with these comments. Ray says, I question the folks moving out of the Greater Toronto area to non-transit communities when buying in the city could be cheaper. Mignon Camp says they cancel the debit card immediately. She also says both debit and credit cards have the Visa and MasterCard liability protection. Dear Rich, what has 45 said he'd do for Black Americans? Good question. The way to pronounce her name is Kamala. And then finally, Dr. Tachi says the show Atlanta had an excellent episode on reparations. That's a whole other conversation, reparations, for another time. All right, my man, thank you so much. Hope you, Angie, and the family are fine and safe. Have a good Ameribana weekend. I know you're not jumping up. When was the last time you went to that parade?
Pre-COVID.
You know, the last time I went to that is at least,
I believe,
15 years ago.
Yeah. You know what? There's a sweet spot. If you can get down, leave your house around 11 and get back home in your yard by 3, you can have a great time. You go down, you see some friends walking along the way, and just before the madness is about to ensue, you get on the GO train and get out of Dodge, and you'll be all right.
Peace.
Have a good weekend.
All right.
Take care, Dr. I appreciate you.
Right. All right, everybody. That is another epic Wayne Harris appearance. It was absolutely fantastic. And we even got Ryan Knight, even though he had to leave at the bottom of the second hour, but that's all right. All right, family, let's do it right. All right, let's get some things done so we can leave on a good note. All right, as always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button so we can get to 1,600 subscribers. Follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. To advertise your business product or service on any of the platforms I am on, please email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Join the Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And Wayne has already sent me what he shared his 10 tips. So that's going into the Discord group. And I'll share his contact information. So if you want to touch base with him, if you want to get a hold of Ryan, RyanOneilKnight.com, LinkedIn, Ryan Oneil Knight, Instagram at Ryan.Knight, and that's Knight KN, not NIGT, KN, KNIGT 99. Email, work with me, RyanOneilKnight.com. Here's all the places you can touch base with me. Website, the DRVIBESHOW.com, the drvibeshow.com, YouTube and Facebook, The Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram at The Dr. Vibe Show, X/Twitter at drvibeshow, and email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And if you're watching this live on the replay, you can catch replays of the show on The Dr. Vibe Show, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, Afro Caribbean Business Network, Facebook and YouTube, and Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. That's a wrap. We got really last quick comments. Let's see. Dr. Tachi, great show. Thank you. And you'll be getting it on your platform, parts of it. Drea Rich, thank you for the show. Thank you right back. Ken Weinberg, great show. Thank you, Ken. You sound like you're brand new. Please subscribe and share it out. Tell people, share it out. All right. We, on Monday, will be doing a replay because it is a civic holiday where we're at. And we'll be back on live next Friday on the Morning Vibe. But check out conversations in between. Please follow me. And if you do, check some of the great conversations. We had a great conversation earlier on this week on the Dr. Vibe Show talking about Toronto guns and Toronto gangs. Really powerful conversation. All right. That's it. So this is how we close out. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Now, just don't manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourselves grace. God bless, peace to all, keep the faith, and as Elder Louis March would say, keep fighting.